Hi, everyone. Welcome to Domain Sherpa. We've got an awesome Domain Sherpa review for everybody today. We've got Josh Reason from Digital Fortune and DNWE on the show, along with Shane and Drew. As usual, the Sherpas talk about domains they recently bought or sold, and we discuss a bunch of names coming up for auction on NameJet. We also talk a lot about NFTs, crypto, and we drop a major announcement about Domain Sherpa on the show. So with that said, it's a great show here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. So let's get on with it. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, aka JT, aka Jay On, and I am the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become better domain investors ourselves. To be clear, these Sherpas are the experts. These are the folks in the space that you want to be listening to and learning from. So as usual, there are 3 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. First, we start off by learning what the Sherpas bought and sold recently. Next, we review a list of domains coming up for auction on NameJet. And then we'll discuss some things that are going on in the domain and digital asset space, looking at the market, trends, and current events. And again, we cover all sorts of digital assets on this program, including domains, of course, but also crypto, NFTs, anything else that we feel like talking about and that might be making money or might be interesting to domain investors or just investors in general. Although nothing that we do on the show is actual domain investment advice. But so take that for what you will. And with that, let's go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. Today on the show, I'm really excited. For the first time since I've been the host, we've got my man, Josh Reason here on the show. Josh is a renowned domain market expert and brand consultant with multiple businesses, both inside and outside the domain industry. He's been instrumental in buying and selling hundreds of premium domain names for clients around the globe. He's got a very popular podcast on digital entrepreneurship called Digital Fortune, which has quickly become one of the most renowned podcasts in the domain space. And then he's also got on that some excellent interviews with the likes of Andrew Rosener, Shane Cultra, Nat Cohen, and others. And he's also the co-founder of DNWE, Domain Name Wholesale Exchange, which can be found at dnwe.com, which is a zero commission trading platform for domain investors whose industry-leading software makes the buying and selling experience seamless. Essentially, the goal of DNWE is to bring domain investors together to create a more liquid market, and it does so very effectively. Josh, welcome to the show.
Dude, what an intro. I need you like in my life a lot more. That was awesome.
That's it, man.
That was more than generous as well.
Hey, man, it's all facts, all facts. You know what? And hey, and I'm also available for weddings and, other events and corporate events. But all right. And with that, we also have Shane and Drew. So real quick for the folks who don't know, which I think is a much smaller audience now, Honey Shane Cultra. We haven't mentioned it, dsad.com. He does his daily domain lists. If you are investing in domain names, you got to check it out. It is a daily list of domains that are coming up for auction at the various marketplaces. And there's a ton of values. I mean, if you are investing in domains and trying to buy domains on a regular basis, in any capacity, you really got to be checking out his list on a daily basis. Follow him on Twitter, all that good stuff. He also has beehouse.com, the artisan honey business, small batch honey that he just recently released. Let's see it. Boom.
Bottles and bottles.
That looks like the champagne wildflower. Is it?
You know your honey. That's exactly what that was. It's the light stuff. It's the sweet goodness.
The Tupelo's a little darker. I like the champagne wildflower might be my favorite. So for everybody out there, get to beehouse.com, buy some honey. We also, I think you said that's going to be the prize for whoever wins the March Madness brackets. So get your brackets.
That blew up. There's quite a lot of people that didn't have a bracket evidently. So they signed up for it.
I'm in. I'm already in. And then last but certainly not least, we got my man, 100,000 grand, the Dirk Diggler of digital assets, Andrew Rosener, aka the market maker, #1 domain broker in the world. crypto enthusiast, futurist, also founder and publisher of Ganjapreneur.com. We don't really shout that out enough on here, I think, but we've got Ganjapreneur.com, which is the #1 blog for the cannabis industry. And he is also the owner and publisher of Domain Sherpa here. So as always, thank you guys for being here. Super psyched for the show. It's going to be all good.
I like the futurist part. What do I get? Do I have to fill out an application for the futurist thing?
Yeah, you gotta like, it's an exhaustive.
Is there a panel?
Yeah. We have a panel of super futurists who then decide who can then be
exactly.
Futurists.
Yeah.
So, you can't just put that on your resume like it ain't no thing.
Yeah.
I think, hey, man, and look, I know, Shane, I don't want to, I'm not putting your business out on the street, but yeah, I mean, you are one of those guys that you're ahead of the curve on so much of the stuff for NFTs and things like that. And you would qualify as well, but I just didn't put it in the bio, man. I don't know that I'm not ready to necessarily say that.
Well, we got to somehow, I'm still literally digging in dirt where it all starts. And then I'm buying NFTs. It just it does not match at all. I don't know how those came together, but I'm literally looking at NFTs while I'm digging a hole.
You're digging in the digital dirt for the gems, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And for the value, the gold nuggets. And so yeah, man. So all good. I think all of us could probably qualify depending on what the actual definition is. But with that said, so we got a great panel today, guys. These are the Sherpas, and this is going to be a good one. Before we go, Josh, I did see something and just, I don't want to take up too much time before we dive into the segments. Josh posted on Twitter the other day, and I don't want to go down a huge rabbit hole here, but he said The Gladiator was the #1 movie ever, right? And I got to say, I like Gladiator. I'd probably put it top 10, but I don't think I could put it in #1. So instead of just tweeting my response, I'm going to put it out here in the world. But for me, my #1 is up there, which is Pulp Fiction. And so I'm going to say that
I got to watch that one.
That is like the #1 joint on my list. So I'm also a big Lebowski fan. See, I got some new art up in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Rocky as well.
And I'm Apocalypto. Mine's Apocalypto.
Is it really?
Love it.
Your #1 movie ever?
I don't know if I ever saw that.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that.
There's so much going on in that movie. It's so well shot. The story's great. The action's great.
It's intense.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Pulp Fiction is up there for me. That movie was real. That's
I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, how have you not seen Pulp Fiction, man? Come on,
what? Are you kidding me?
I swear to God, I haven't seen.
I can recite that thing like word for word.
That's what I'm saying.
What's yours then, Drew? What is it?
Mine is that's tough for me, man. I the one that just immediately comes to mind, although I'm hesitant to say that's the real #1 for me, but A Bronx Tale.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Dude, I haven't seen it.
Bronx Tale is solid.
A Bronx Tale was kind of like defining for me. You know what I mean?
That's another one that it's shot well. The story's told perfect.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that is the best gangster movie that's ever been made.
Wow. That's a bold statement, though.
I think it is way better, like really, like night and day compared to like Goodfellas.
Man.
I mean, Goodfellas is an amazing movie.
Statements on Domain Sherpa right now.
Listen, that's a great movie, but Bronx Tale. That's you know what it is. A Bronx Tale is the real deal, right? It just is.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one about the mouse. Oh, that's a different one. I don't know. I haven't seen Bronx Tale either.
Shane, man, what's going on, man?
I'm just kidding. I've seen it. Bronx Tale is a fantastic movie.
It is excellent. No, and I think that's the thing about Bronx Tale. I think it gets overshadowed by the fact that, the gangster space, you've got a lot of really good movies, right? Goodfellas is a classic. Godfather, of course, even Sopranos, right? So you've got a lot there in that bucket that, I think, but I would agree with you. There are elements of Bronx Tale, now you can't leave. You know what I'm saying?
You can't leave. I mean, that's like one of the greatest lines in any movie. Yeah. That's the most boss line ever. It's like Sonny walks up in the bar. You got the bikers causing a ruckus. Sonny owns the bar, or at least he protects the bar. And so Sonny walks up in the bar, and these guys are like, who do you think you are, right? And they're like getting all rough and tough with him and getting loud. And Sonny's cool as a cucumber. And he just turns around, walks over to the door, locks the door, takes the key, puts it in his pocket, turns around, looks at these guys, and they're looking at him like, who's this crazy guy? And he says, now you can't leave. And this is just after asking them politely to leave, right? And they're being rude and obnoxious. And he says, now you can't leave. And then proceeds to just, all the dudes come out the back and they beat these dudes dead. And it's just the best. It was like, that was the most boss line in any movie that's ever been made, hands down. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. All right. So, all right, everybody then got their.
It's kind of how I feel about, the rest of the domain broker market. It's like, now you just can't leave.
Oh, man. And with that, all right, that is a great segue. Although Apocalypto, man, that's kind of crazy. I do agree. It's intense.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't even know what it's about. Is that the Mel Gibson
Cinematography.
thing?
I mean, it's about
Put
like
it on a big screen.
falling of the Mayan Empire, or right?
That's like it's a Mel Gibson movie, right?
Yeah,
You got it.
actually,
Mel
yeah,
Gibson
about
directed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's not exactly what's about to fall, but it takes place during that time. You know what I mean? And it's like and it's pretty crazy. So. All right. Yeah. Well, and Gladiator's dope too. There's some shout outs to a few others. I mean, Shawshank,
Shawshank's right up there.
Yeah. Shawshank is a hell of a movie.
That would probably that's up there. Yeah. I mean, we all know that. So. Shawshank. I mean, I still tell the story of he takes, again, we won't go down the rabbit hole, but it's a good metaphor for life. Just one pocket of dirt at a time. And eventually you can do anything. Yeah. He gets out of jail, one pocket of dirt.
100%
at a time.
That's it. Yeah. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and we're going to go into the first segment, which is what's new. And this is where the Sherpas share details of a purchase or a sale they made recently, and they'll name the domain. The other Sherpas guess the price, and we'll see what's up. So with that, Josh, as you are the guest, let's go ahead and start with you, man. What do you got?
Oh, guys, what do you think? I got a deal right now. I just agreed this morning for it's a good one. Or I can talk about a buy, which is not as exciting, but payment hasn't been made yet. What do you think? It will get made. I think though.
Well, are you the buy that's making the payment?
No. I'm the seller. So I've got a good sale that just went through that is literally coming through right now. Or I can do a buy, or I can do like a small sale that nobody cares about.
No, I want the sale. I want the exciting sale that.
Yeah, because this won't come out for a couple of days. Hopefully, it'll go through by then.
And if it's anything like Metaverse,
and if it doesn't, it's all good. It's all good. We can just we'll keep living life. It's no big deal.
Well, and if it's anything like Metaverse.io, if it doesn't close, you're just going to sell it in time for the next show for 5x. You know what I mean? So it's so it's all good.
Yeah, no, I want to keep it exciting for you guys. Anyway, so this morning we just closed and we're just waiting on payment for SPCE.
Like space without space with no space.
Space with no space.
You just bought that name, no?
I did recently.
Because I was in the auction for that one and I almost bought it, and then I don't know.
But then you were like, nah, I'm gonna give it to my good boy. He's right there.
I was more like this whole let's just get cute and forget about a letter. Like the days of that are coming to an end quite quickly because
well, don't tell the guy that's buying landscaper from you without the E.
Well, because it's like with voice search and the whole way that we're moving, like it's not gonna be okay to have a brand with its missing letters. Like you basically typos are gonna be a thing of the past. I don't know. I think it'll be very inconvenient to have a domain name that won't contain.
Well, that's assuming that the value here is being derived by the idea that it's like space, right? I mean, SPCE even as a 4 character is pretty cool and pretty good. So, all right. So with that, all right,
that's where branding comes in.
Let's put the money where your mouth is. What's your
all right, Drew? If you start.
All right.
I don't have those diamond hands. Just remember, I don't have those diamond hands, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, can't talk about that one. Let's go.
No, you got to guess on his price. You've already moved to you.
Guess on his price.
You're ready to go today, Drew. What have you got in the pipeline there?
I can tell you don't care.
10 grand.
All right.
10 grand. You know, he's got those paper hands. So
No, I was gonna say, you think I got that paper wallet, right?
All right, let's see. So
he's got those paper hands. I'm gonna say
Drew
10
says
grand.
10K. All right, Shane, talk to me.
I didn't see the auction price, so I don't know what the in is. That makes a huge difference. So, what was it going for, Drew? Give me that info. We don't.
I think
Josh
it was
can't
like
tell.
two. I think it was like 1,500 or two.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, and it hasn't been that long, so the turnaround I would say would be less than if you would have. I'll say I'll be in that range. I'll say like 14.5.
All right, so
14.5
for Sugar Shane. I am gonna say 20K because I just have more faith than these guys, and I think that you turn that around at least for 10x, and that's where I'm at.
12 grand's a lot of faith. That's good money.
All right, well,
Josh,
you guys, man. Honestly, I'm so disappointed in all of you. So disappointed. We agreed on 50.
boom, that's what's up. I at least
Whoa.
so
Damn, son.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I pretty much held firm at my buy it now price. They came in at like.
And is it because space.com traded I think last year. And I had previously tried to acquire that on behalf of somebody. And we came up short. But then it apparently traded last year. I kind of have an idea, I think, of what it traded for based on my negotiation with them. And it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's them.
Well, it's a ticker symbol for Virgin Galactic as well.
Oh, snap. So it's Chamath coming
Maybe.
at you.
Maybe.
Chamath coming at you for that SPCE.
which he's gonna.
Yeah, I don't
Which
know.
almost even spells SPAC.
Back. That's what I was just gonna say. He's putting that SPAC money into SP.
Yeah. He's putting the SPAC in the SPCE.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like the name. I like the name though, guys.
JT, that's our next NFT, our next NFT wrap. It's gonna be putting that SPAC in the SPCE.
Yeah.
No. They came in initially with 28,000 offer.
That's like you down with OPP.
And then they came up to 35, and I was pretty much just like, nah. I mean, we got to be at buy it now price, which is like 56. Told them that I'd give them 9% off, but they, that was it. I honestly wasn't going to come down any more than that either. And I think what I've noticed over the last 12 months to 18 months for me personally is just like sticking with your price is powerful. In the past I've come down a lot, and
Shows weakness.
It shows weakness, and I probably didn't have to in the end. And I think that, when you get a decent name like that and you get a motivated buyer, I think you just got to stick with your price and show a little bit of strength on how you've priced the name. So
yeah, well done, man. Good job. So, and technically I won because I was the closest. So I gave you the most respect, even though these guys were trying to even pull me down, trying to push you up. You know what I mean? So it's
Can't hold me down. Oh no.
Got to
keep on moving.
Yeah. All right. So with that, Drew, let's move on to you. You got to buy, sell. What you want to talk about?
he sold everything. He's got nothing left.
I got nothing left.
We're trying, man. We're trying.
I'm out. All right. So, what's that? That's not.
I'll go while he's thinking.
Drew, before you start, I will say this. I bought reasons.com in the auction the other day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. I told Drew, I said, I bet you that's Josh.
Yeah, no. So Amar was helping me out because I was in the car and I didn't sign up for the auction. Sorry, Monty. Been a busy couple months, but I definitely had to take that one home.
Yeah, nice work. That was good. That was a good grab. 99 reasons, and Amar ain't one. All right, let's go with a buy. Okay, NFT.tv.
NFT.tv. Unfortunately, I'm out. I can't guess on this one, but
yeah.
but but I'm curious to see what y'all think. So, which one of you guys wants to step up and put a number on the table?
Man.
Did someone bring you that name?
No.
You went hunting, huh?
Yeah. He was typing them all.
Once I discovered that my NFT.com, once I decided I was going to sell NFT.com, I went out, I got everything. So I literally think that we got every single name in the NFT space.
Yeah, you did.
That can be had. We got everything. NFTX.com, NFTY.com, NFTP.com, NFT.tv, NFT M, NFT N, NFT, NFT T, you name it, man. Every letter before, every letter after, any extension that matters. But I really like NFT.tv, and I'll tell you about why afterwards.
Well, you're flush with NFT metaverse money, so
Boom.
we know. I'm gonna say, God, I wish NFT.tv. I'm gonna say 30 grand. Just man, that could be all over the board with these things. I'll say 30 grand. I'm saying the guy had weak hands on the other side. I'll just put that there. I know Jonathan can't say anything, so
yeah.
But you can give me a look that says
yeah. Turn on the light,
Yeah, exactly.
Be
like
me a signal. Oh, awesome. Oh, Josh is froze. Oh no, he's back.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna say
He's just thinking.
I'm gonna say 12.5.
Okay, so he went lower. 12.
Going lower.
5. All right. With that, give him the reveal.
All right, Drew.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, I don't know. I was kind
Drew just fell asleep right there. He was like,
yeah, exactly.
I was thinking about
he's really trying to build up.
He's saying, "Oh, I forgot a letter, NFT, and I didn't get the C behind it."
All right, so we got it for 25.
Boom.
Yeah.
So Shane was real close.
Yeah,
and I agree. I mean, it's not a giveaway, but I think that's cheap.
Well, I mean, again, it's the money that we jokingly talk about is a lot of money to a lot of people. And so when they see a 25 grand, they're like, there's a good used car that I've been wanting to buy this whole time. And it's for a name that I bought for Fred Township back in the day, so it's, you just don't know who's on the other side of that. So you probably made somebody's year with that purchase.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, I think you probably did. They probably didn't even know what NFT was until 6 months ago. Just like a random 3-letter .tv.
And so you want to explain a little bit of the thing?
6 months ago, most people didn't know what an NFT was till like a week ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The early adopters found out 2 months ago.
So with
did you see the tweet where I said, and a girl, I can't remember what her name was. She goes, I thought non-fungible token was a token that couldn't grow mushrooms.
Yeah. I mean, listen, go back and look at the Domain Sherpa episode where we interviewed Cryptograph, the platform that I invested in almost 2 years ago, that literally was like one of the first NFT platforms. But, we were the first ones to take a celebrity NFT to market ever. Like our first one up was Paris Hilton. That shit sold for 50 grand. Then we did Shane Cultra. It sold for like 10 grand, right? We did, the Aquaman dude. We did, everybody that you can think of, like the A-list celebrities. We had them doing digital doodles.
Yeah.
Minted it into an NFT. Threw it up there. All the proceeds went to charity. And I mean, nobody showed up because nobody even knew what an NFT was. And that was like,
and I was buying crypto. I was buying crypto kitties.
So
I didn't even know what they were.
Day after the Beeple auction, I reached out to the dude that bought the Paris Hilton NFT on our platform. And I was like, yo, what are you going to sell that for? 10 million.
Yeah.
So NFT.TV, Drew, what's your thinking around that? Like, why were you willing to purchase it? Just because I know not just because it had NFT in it, but what's your thought?
Yeah,
around
so I think
value?
that after.com, which is just clearly obviously the best one, I think NFT.TV in this particular category is the next best name, simply because it's so first and foremost, NFTs can represent many different things. But if we're focusing on NFT art, then all of this is being displayed through these various types of screens, and much of it is being displayed, shared, and discussed through video. And so even a Beeple, it's like you buy a Beeple and you get a little digital video display that's encased in acrylic, and it's like a little Kindle Fire, right? In a thing of acrylic. It's a video screen. So I think that NFT.TV could be a hardware play for like a Samsung that wants to come out with an NFT, sort of wall art screen, or mini ones for packaging up to sell the NFTs. Or it can also be like an online gallery for NFTs. I mean, what a cool way to launch a digital gallery. So you can have beeple.nft.tv, and you can have pack.nft.tv, and all these people can have their own gallery, and or have professional curators hosting galleries. But I think nft.tv is a really cool way to do that. So I'm not going to do it, but I like to think about what could be done with it, when I'm buying these things. So we'll see.
Cool name.
Yeah. No. And so all good.
It's a small punt on, some of the NFT proceeds from selling NFT.com. And, my guess is it'll turn into a strong multiple. I think it's worth at least 10x that. We'll see.
I think the .io is probably the second most desirable one after the .com, though.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So who is that?
Maybe one? From a general perspective, but I mean, for like
logically, I prefer your logic and application for the .tv. I think just market conditions, .io.
Yeah, no, market conditions, which are going to be primarily driven by hype cycle. I agree with you. .io, NFTs, it's a match made in heaven, just because they're both in these giant hype cycles. But yeah. I think that, from an actual application purpose, utility purpose, I do like the .tv better. And I like, I've always liked .co better than .io, but,
not right now.
Metaverse.io. What up? All right. So with that, Shane, do you have a
you know what? I actually forgot. I could have talked about, we did sell another name, but anyways.
What? JT is like, oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. Save it for another show in case you don't sell another one in 2 weeks.
We might. Exactly.
Yeah, the chance of that are pretty high.
All right, Shane, what do you got, man?
I have a sale. I sold CFOC, 4-letter acronym.
Oh, that's a good name.
Not pronounceable to me. CFOC.
It sounds like a financial regulatory agency.
Yeah.
CFOC.
You and I, Drew, believe in the O before the last letter.
Yeah,
that's
love it.
Pretty much all the 4 letters I buy.
Yeah.
And is that because of blank blank?
Just fits in, like it just fits into the acronym space perfectly.
Yep.
I mean, that's great thinking. So, all right. So let's go around the horn and see what everybody thinks. What y'all think that is?
We're going 25.
All right. So Drew's on the record at 25K.
Yeah. So, CFO outsourcing is a pretty big thing here in the US. So I mean, I like the name a lot. I think I would be asking in that range for it. Obviously ending in C, it could literally just be like CFO Corp or something like that, right? I'm going to say that you let it go at 19,888.
Oh, wow. We're getting pretty particular. 19,888.
Jonathan puts his notebook as far away in the room as he can when he's writing stuff down. It's literally in the other room when he writes.
It's just over here, man. I need to get like a separate
Yeah. Hold on. Let me walk into the kitchen to write the price down.
I don't want to throw a wrench into the works of Shane's soapbox here, but we literally just in this very moment, as we're recording, we just sold Meta.io for another extraordinary price.
What? Right now? Just a second?
Yeah.
Right now. META?
META, yeah.
Well, let's talk about that after we just finish
off
with Shane here.
I mean, mine's going to be amazing. we can tell this should pay for the gas fees of the transaction.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, so
the story behind this, honestly, is I was short of cash this month. I mean, sales really, there weren't going on very much. And I'm putting money in websites and business development and names and the shittiest crypto things you've never heard of. And the bank account is getting low. So I went through my 4letter.coms and lowered them. Most of them are in the 14, 18. And I lowered this one to.
Well, wait, I didn't guess yet.
Oh, it doesn't matter because you don't get it. So it's either.
That's messed up, man.
Well, now you've gotten all the information, you know that.
Yeah. You're out, man. You snooze, you lose.
Right.
So I lowered it to, I can't remember. I think it's 9,800. It's either 8,800, 9,800. And then 2 days later it gets purchased. So to me,
well, I was going to say 15. So I technically am going to win this one too. So.
No, I mean, I had it.
Sure you were.
I had it in that range. That's one of my better 4 letters. But I needed to sell something. And that's the second time this has happened. So when I go through and knock my 4 letters down 20, 30, 40%, one of them gets hit. I have about 70 or 80 of them, but they're all in that C at the end or I at the end, O's in the middle, but they always sell. And every time I think, well, maybe I should just lower them all to that. But some of them do sell at that higher price. But I sell, of that 70 or 80, I sell 3 or 4 a year for 40 grand every year. But I paid
price knocking is actually like legit. Every time I price knock, you get something from it as well. Before we talk about
cool term. So is that knocking down the prices of multiple domains or just knocking one, or does it matter? Like when you talk about price knocking, are you typically doing that across a group of domains, or are you doing those on an individual basis?
I will, yeah. So I'll normally do it in a type of category, like Shane said. I'll if I want to do it on like 4Ls, that's a good place to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll
probably price all our 4Ls. We've got a lot.
Yep. So
yeah.
And so 10K basically is what you sold it for?
Yeah. I mean, I think I took home like 8 grand because it was on after Nick. That's the thing, is one of those wake up in the morning, hey, the crazy thing, to bitch a little bit. Normally that's fast transfer, right? I mispriced a domain years ago that was about 15 grand or 20 grand. And I sold it for 500 because I uploaded the sheet wrong. It sold instantly. This one, I got to put in the ID, whatever. What do you call it? What did they send you? The auth code.
Yeah. This
one, they make me put an auth code to finish it up. And I'm like, why didn't they make me put the auth code in the one that disappears out of my hands instantly?
Yeah.
If it's fast transfer, why do I have to put in an auth code? But it is a happy email you get in the morning saying, congratulations, your name is sold. Because
that's a good sell. I'd say that's a good sell. Anytime you can sell.
What'd you pay for that? What'd you buy for? Like $2 grand?
I don't know. I'd have to look on name bio like the rest of us. I'm sure I bought it at auction. I can't remember. During that, I bought so many names over the years. I can't remember if I bought it during the 2017 stuff.
Here. I think I see it. Namejet in 2019 for $1,500.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're gonna get all disappointed about a 8x return in a year. I don't think so.
And honestly, I could use it. That pays off my site build. I just built a site that cost me, some money, and I'm thinking I gotta get that thing paid off so they can finish it up. And bam. There it is.
Well, and I think the way that you just literally just ratcheted down the pricing a little bit, sold it immediately, get paid out immediately. It's that quick on an 8X on a domain that, is one of many that you have. So it's like, how is that not a positive transaction? Other than the fact that y'all didn't let me guess on it when I would have been right. So, so other than that, spoiling this whole experience for you, you know what I'm saying? Like it's otherwise all good.
Well, I think you're on a team that sold Meta, so I'm not worried about you all that much.
We're doing. I'm doing okay.
Drew,
And you can fall back on last week's rap skills.
Yes. There will be no rapping today, but we will have. There's going to be some more to follow. So, quick announcement on that. So, we actually went. The response was obviously really positive, and I appreciate all the love like coming from everybody on that. It was a lot of fun to do. So then we actually went and recorded it for real on that beat. Sent it up to an engineer that I used to work with, and so we got the track back. So we actually have a completed song, pretty much word for word off of that freestyle, and it's pretty slick. It came out really, really good. And so now the question is, all right, are we gonna like NFT it? Like, so we got to work through that process. So there'll be more to follow, but that is currently like in progress, and it's pretty dope. So
I say 10 copies of it, and I get one of them just in case.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
So it's all good. So yeah. So all right. Well, that's what's up. And with that, so those are all the say buys and sells for this week's segment.
Well, we got to
we got to go to Meta. We got to go to Meta. Drew just sold it for $88,000. You just sold it for $88,000, dude.
More.
Oh my god.
I can't tell you the price because we actually brokered it. And I don't actually know. I suspect the owner wouldn't have a problem. The owner is somebody who's been a guest on this show.
No, that's cool. That's cool if you broke it.
But I just don't have their like explicit permission.
I have a question though. Did they come to you after you sold Metaverse? Did they come to you and see if you could sell that as well?
Yeah.
It's Carson. All right, good job.
All right, and on that, to keep us from violating any kind of
JT's just like, shut up.
Put the mic down.
I mean, I don't have, it's all good. It's not, but I don't have his explicit permission to share any information, so I'm not going to do it. But it was another very good sale.
And it was a guy that owned it, so we got it down to 50%.
So, and if once we get the okay, we'll break it out. But anyways, with that was awesome.
Let's see if I can get the okay in real time here.
We'll see if this even makes it to video. It might be cut all out because Jonathan's like,
good. Well, let's do this, right?
JT's like, we're going to need some editing in this one.
So we will. We're going to jump to break. We're going to let our sponsors tell you about what they do, and then we're going to come back with the second segment. And if we can provide any additional insight here on the Meta IO sale. Meanwhile, Shane is flipped. For those of you audio only, Shane's hitting the light, the signal. He's hitting the signal light to try to get the inside scoop. And but we'll be back in a minute here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains, and we are going to keep it moving with Josh Reason and the rest of the crew.
Get money.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Domain Sherpa. We are on to the second segment, which is the NameJet list, which is this segment is sponsored by NameJet, where we review a list of domains heading to auction. But before we do that, right before we left y'all and then went to commercial, we were talking about the Meta.io sale, and Drew was trying to get approval to disclose the price. And I think you got some news there, right, Drew?
Sure do. So we sold Meta.io. Let me just quickly double check. Yep. All right. Meta.io, $100,000 on the button. 100 grand. Yeah. So Metaverse, 175, Meta.io, 100. We are just wiping it all over the floor.
That's how you mint right there.
That's how you mint.
Domains.
What you got, people? What you got, people?
Yeah.
He's like, I've got $57 million after I paid out Christie's.
Got a big tax bill.
So, all right. So with that, that's obviously good news and all good stuff. All right. So let's
anybody I'm just curious on this. I was thinking about this the other day, actually. What if let's say you're an artist and Beeple, I mean, he's been building this thing for 14 years, right? But then it was accumulated into a single piece of artwork, last month and then sold. Is that a short-term capital gain? Is that a long-term capital gain? Is that normal income because that's his profession? What kind of income is that?
That should be normal income because that's his profession.
Yeah.
So
unless he's formed something, but
hopefully he's got a lot of deductions this year.
My question is bigger than that. The payment was in crypto. Did he keep the payment in crypto or did he put it into US dollars?
Good question.
That's the question. That's the balls move right there. Do you feel comfortable enough to take $60 million, $66 million in crypto?
I mean, I think, he's clearly a risk taker. He's clearly got an appetite for risk. I would guess he definitely keeps some portion of it in crypto.
Yeah.
I just can't, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
It's like, let's say it's 57 million after taxes. It's going to be, let's just call it 30. He's going to have 35 million, right? And so there's probably other people getting paid in there too. So, there's a hype man, there's somebody. So let's just say it's 25, 30 million. He's going to have 25, 30 million.
It doesn't even sound worth it at this point.
Yeah, might as well.
Rich
was a joke. That was a joke. Yeah. No, but it was like, he probably puts, you got to say, all right, 20 million, you're going to take 20 million off the table, put it in the bank, go buy, whatever. And then you got to imagine he's putting 5-10 million, keep it 5-10 million in Ethereum because, it's going to.
Depends how this guy wants to live his life. It could be the complete flip side of that. He might just take 5 million off the table and keep 20.
Yeah, he might. He
got paid.
He seems like, but the problem is though, you got to keep in mind is that he has to pay his taxes in dollars, right? The tax burden is based on the Ethereum value in dollars at the time of the sale or at the time of payment, I suppose. That's another
payment, I
question.
believe.
I don't even know how, it's so out of control, man. Like how are they going to know, the exact time they're going to, I mean, for that kind of size of transaction.
What do you mean? It's super easy. It's called blockchain. It's
I know, but
how many 69 point whatever $1 million Ethereum transactions were there that day?
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
You just find out,
True.
It was exactly this
with
microsecond.
that dollar amount. Yeah.
And this is what the price was at that second.
And it was paid in Ether, right? So,
Christie's was paid in Ether, and then it's questionable what they paid him in. I doubt he even got paid yet. Those that's the old school industry. That dude will get paid net 60. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Christie's will pay net 60.
Oh, you kidding me?
And if they keep it in crypto, then by the time they're paying him, they'll make.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna hold this shit net 60, and then depending on what happens with this Ethereum thing, we'll let you know.
Yeah, exactly. So.
The way my checking account works, I'm gonna have to pay you later.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to pay him in chunks. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's over our daily limit, so we're going."
Exactly. I just called the bank. They're gonna release some of it.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna release 60%, and then put.
Hey, people, can I get your? Can I get a routing number from you? Because I'm gonna have to send you some.
Can I call? Do you have a contact at the bank I can speak?
Yeah, that's what they said. He said, "Here, there's my wallet number." Is that anything like Is that like a routing number? Because I don't know if we can do that.
Oh man, that's well. All right. So with that, let's keep it moving. We're on to the news list.
Not only though, did we literally just sell Meta.io for another what would be a record-breaking price if I hadn't already broken the record last week, but We also just took down, I can't say it because I'm not saying this one until it hits my account, but we just took down a beast that will be literally, as far as I'm concerned, number 2 or number 3 domain I've ever bought in my life after clear.com and zoom.com.
Wow.
It's a good one.
Better than Pegasus, better than Swan.
Dude, this is a crazy.
Better.
Oh man,
Crazy.
are you serious? You're just gonna leave me with that right now?
Yeah. I'm gonna leave you with blue balls.
You'll find out.
The cows come home.
So Shane.com finally sold, huh?
Finally landed.
We finally got it in the portfolio.
Yeah.
All right. Now, with that,
Now let's go to other domains that actually we can buy.
we're going on to the NameJet list. So, and again, this segment sponsored by NameJet. And to be clear, none of y'all are selling or brokering any of the domains on the list. I know the answer is no because they're all expiring, but I feel like I got to ask that, or at least it's in the script. So it's in there. So I'm contractually obligated by Michael Seiger to have to say that. So for those of you who don't know, we go through a list of domains that are listed for about to come up for auction on NameJet. Some of these are coming up in like a week and change. So definitely, if you like any of the domains on the list, definitely get out there and get your back orders in. We now attach a list, an Excel spreadsheet below the post on DomainSherpa.com that you can download. That'll give you some general info around the domains, the Esteban appraisal, the amount of back orders at the time of taping, the amount of days left at the time of airing, as well as the links to the domains themselves to help make your life easier. And so that way you can go and check out these domains that we are talking about. What's also interesting too, we've started also tracking some of the names that we've been talking about to see how they're selling, which I think is pretty cool. And a couple of highlights there. That Pixel with the Pixel, but AL, not EL, if you guys remember, $5,000. Yeah. That sold for $5,250. So I thought that was pretty cool. BSTV sold for $3,027. So a little bit less. I was thinking that was going to be in like the 5K range. That sold for $3,000. So I think that, was a pretty good buy. Cultural.org sold for $14,000. So that was a pretty big, that got up there. And mutation.com sold for $26,555. So mutation.com sold for almost $27K. So that was, some of these eView sold for almost $11,000. A name that I thought undersold that I think was a good buy by somebody who picked it up. And if it's somebody in our audience, fastboat.com sold for just over $1,100, so $1,172. So I actually like that purchase price, especially when you look at it compared to some of these other names. Now, obviously, we're amplifying these names, which puts even more eyeballs and more dollars on them. But interesting to see how they shake out. And we've got a few others. Club Pass, I think, will close probably the day this airs, which I think is an interesting one. That's up over $1,000 already with 2 days and change to go. But once this airs, it'll probably be closing literally that day. And then you've got crowdsourcing.com's now up to 113 bidders. Greeneye.com is up to 132 bidders. So, those are going to be some big ones as well. So just some interesting stuff as we're really starting to track and kind of keep an eye on these things. But anything out of that list that surprises you guys or you think was either either more or less than you expected?
I like mutation.com, but I don't like it at that price. I find it hard.
What did it go for? What did that one do?
27,000. Yeah. 26,555.
Wow. Yeah. But look, I mean, it's a solid oneword.com. It's not like some awkward form,
You can't get decent-ish oneword.coms like that for anything less anymore. So it's just like, I don't like it at that price because you could 18 months ago or 12 months ago, but you got to pay that now.
Yeah. And it's not like peak. It's, there's some things where you go, oh, those will come down. They're not going down. They're disappearing.
There's more people that are willing to pay those prices than I've ever seen. You agree with that? There's more people willing to pay these prices than I've ever seen before. It's not just the top people
this isn't like all of a sudden, it's not a bubble.
No, it's not a bubble because there's so many people that are willing to do it.
For a decade, right? It's like, you have a very finite supply of oneword.com domain names, or let's just say ultra premium domains in general, 3 letters, 2 letters, 1 words, even 2 words that can't be replaced or augmented with a new TLD type name. And it's like those names, it's a game of attrition. Like we're selling more than we're able to acquire, right? There's more leaving the market than are coming back to the market. They only come back through bankruptcies, going out of business, death, divorce, And so there's more of them leaving the market than coming back to the market, right? So we've definitely got a supply crunch. And at the same time, you got, what is it? A factor of 5, I believe, over the next 5 years of the number of people that'll be connected to the internet. And then I think it's like a factor of 10, the number of businesses that will emerge on the internet that currently don't have an internet presence or don't exist today over the next 5 years. So you got 5 times more people and 10 times more businesses coming online that aren't there today. And at the same time, the supply is going only one direction. So, it's kind of like, when people were like, well, why do you think Bitcoin's going to go up? In like 2014 or 13, it was like, well, supply is permanently going down and demand will more than likely continue to go up. I used to say to people, which I thought was a very simple way of thinking about Bitcoin. If you, every day when you wake up, if you can ask yourself, will there be at least one more person today than yesterday who wants Bitcoin? Then the price must go up. And so in the next day, the same thing, and with the day when you wake up and go, you know what? I think tomorrow there's going to be less people that want Bitcoin than today. That's when you start selling Bitcoin. But, it's the same as domains. It's like tomorrow there will be more people that want every oneword.com, every 3-letter.com, every 2-letter.com. There will be at least one more person tomorrow that wants that than today. And so long as that stands true, price goes up, period, right? Short-term fluctuations, but longer-term trend line only goes in one direction. Yep. And I think that's held true for, 20 years or 25, right? It's like they only go in one direction. Once in a while, you get a little blow off top in a certain category, 4 letters, number, whatever it might be. People get a little over-enthused in a particular category, but, over time, that trend line just goes up.
Just like
this is not investment advice.
Stocks only go up, right?
Yeah.
So with that, all right. So let's talk about this list on NameJet. And I think that obviously, I think we agree with everything you're saying, and I think it's 100% accurate. And it's the bull run, right, Shane? You're talking about Bitcoin.
Bull run, baby.
It's always a bull run if I'm involved.
Donk.
Not .ws.
Donks
as
opposed to stonks.
Shane, you are like the king of selling things. You're always at the head of a curve. Always. You're always at the freaking day one.
I made a vow to myself in the mirror like a month ago and that's why I had no money. Honestly, I think I put this in a post. I am at the front of every single thing, and I'm always afraid that I'm wrong. So I always and I've always made money. I don't think I've lost money in anything in my life besides .ws. I mean, I always make money.
We've all got a black eye.
Yeah. That's your dot movie.
But I decided this time I'm in. Like I told you, I put like $150,000 into Ford stock. They had terrible news today. In my mind, I'm thinking, you're not going to be right. This isn't going to be correct. And then I said, no. A month ago, you said, if you have an idea, you stick it out to the end. So I'm not touching the Ford stock. And everything I buy, I'm just keeping it. But that also, the reason I have money to get into all these crazy things is because I'm always selling stuff. Well, I haven't been selling stuff, and I'm looking at my bank account and saying, Jesus, I've blown $200,000 on, I don't know what. I'm in everything. So now it's become a little difficult to be at the forefront of everything when everything wants a 2 Ethereum to get in or a Bitcoin. I don't have that. So I got to figure out some new cash flow. That's why I'm in the honey business. And I tell you what,
honey the money, man.
It's ridiculous. I made more money with a stupid Top Shot on a $9 pack that I have working my ass off building a honey brand. That doesn't make any sense at all. That's the thing.
Shane, you're the ultimate trader, man. When I interviewed you on the podcast, I was like, this guy's cool. Like, he's cool.
Well, I enjoy it. It's a game. It's like, I don't play video games because life's a video game. You get paid in real money. You get to, I played lemonade stand for hours, and I was sitting there. Remember that game where you like the weather? It's going to predict the weather. You predict the price of the lemonade that you're going to sell, and and it tells you the cost of the ingredients, and then you predict how many cups you're going to sell. And you make those, and then the game tells you the weather was 69, you sold 15 cups of lemonade, here's how much you made. That was the whole game. But I'm like 5 years old preparing this. And then eventually I thought, why don't I just sell some fucking lemonade? So,
exactly.
Instead of playing this game. So that's kind of where we're at.
On that topic, the only criticism I have about this massive wave in digital assets, be it domain names, be it crypto, be it NFTs, whatever. The only real sincere criticism I have is that it's going to pull really smart, some of the world's smartest people and most productive people out of the game. They're going to literally just get pulled to the sidelines from the global economy. So let's say the real economy, the brick and mortar economy, the manufacturing economy, the actual production of goods and services, that we utilize on a daily basis. A lot of people are going to get pulled out of that game for two reasons. One is just, the excitement and the fast pace of the digital asset space. And then number two is just the stupid money that some of these people are making. They're just going to go to the sides. I mean, it's like, look at it like a Chris Sacca, right? Chris Sacca is like, one of the greatest angel investors ever, comes at things with a completely different perspective, probably up the angel game in a way that nobody else has ever done. And really kind of disrupted the whole VC market, actually. But, he at some point he made enough money. He was like, I'm just going to go skiing. And it was like, I'm out. And that's it. And it's like, and that leaves a vacuum, and that changes the game. And so there is, I am a little bit nervous that like we really pull some of the smartest and most productive people in the world out of the game simply because of either make too much money or, they get enticed by this environment.
Yeah.
Counterpoint to that, though, I think that you've got, so Sacca, from what I've seen, spends some of his time now, trying to solve like climate problems, right? So I think you can also argue, though, that, some of these really smart folks getting the means and the time to do so, provided that they're properly motivated, right? Like altruistically or otherwise, to focus on things. But I agree with you. I think if all of a sudden you're saying, hey, we're going to take the people that could have been curing cancer, right? And instead they're going to be minting fucking, NFTs and, digital, crypto kitties, instead of literally trying to cure diseases, then I think without a doubt, like the economics of it is skewed in such a way that it actually creates a negative impact on the human race, right? So yeah, I think that big picture, that's a concern. I would hope that, as some of these things go, some of these folks, though, it gives some people maybe a little bit more runway to pivot and focus their time and energy on things that could really truly help people, because they don't necessarily have to slave at a desk job or like, some other like, in some job that's going to suck their soul out of their body and not allow them to focus on things they truly care about. So, but I'm with you. I think it's an interesting dynamic, and probably more for us to talk about on a different show, when we're not trying to get to the name jet list.
Yeah, let's get to name jet. Sorry.
All right, name jet. Here we go, baby.
Gas.
So anyway, with that, who wants to go first? We got the list of names, and what do you think? I got Drew going first. What do you? But if somebody else wants to jump in,
all right, I'll jump in. Sorry, Drew. Let's go.
Right.
I got a couple names that I like. There's, honestly, I wouldn't bid on all of these, but I really like sellyourhome.com.
Mm-hmm.
I like that name a lot. I do pretty good with those kind of like call to action 3-word.coms. And obviously this one, it's got search volume. It's a pretty common thing that people say. I love that name. I'll be bidding on that name for sure. And then like kind of like a sleeper that I like that, might not get too much action. digitaldreamer.com. I think that's pretty cool. I feel like that's a cool brand. Like I could see that being a podcast name or something like that. You know, it's nothing like super valuable, but it's a type of name that I would bid on. You know, I'd price it, you know, somewhere in the, you know, 10K range, something like that. And I feel like it's a name you can pick up for under $1,000. So, you know, those are my two favorites on the list. You know, I like share.net. But personally, I don't really invest too much in .nets because I find that they're difficult to sell. So I just move them on to someone who has more success with those type of names. But share.net is a great .net. All right. It is a great .net. I think it will go pretty high. I think you'll probably see that it goes for like 7,500 to 12 grand range, depending on how motivated guys like Amar and Drew be, or whether they partner up together or whatnot. I don't know. But share.net is a cool name as well.
All right. Cool. Yeah, no, I think all good. I would agree with everything you're saying. I think that Digital Dreamer for me, I think, you know, sort of in line of some of this NFT type stuff that we're talking about, and just the physical to digital, the idea that you can create you go a couple of different ways around that. And I think price wise, you know, try to include a few names here so that not everything was thousands of dollars, you know, in potential sale price, although some of these will definitely sell for that. So, and yeah, I think Sell Your Home to me is one of my favorites on here. I mean, it's one of those, like you said, that's like a business in a box type of thing. And real estate is booming. And, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff around.
I think that might get up there. That might get up to low five figures, even sellyourhome.com. That's a good name.
It's a phenomenal name. I mean, that's really my pick from the list.
Yeah. What else you like though, Drew? Anything else you like or anything you don't like?
You know, I gotta say, I think it's one of the weaker lists we've seen in a little while. But yeah, Sell Your Home is a lights out name. I mean, that's a big name.
Should I not have included it so that to keep people from bidding on it?
I like share.net. Waste recycling. I mean, you know, it's probably an easy, like small sale. Like, you know, you got that for like a couple $100. It's probably a very easy name to do outbound on and, you know, sell for 4 or low 5 figures, like probably like very easily if you want to do the work. You know, dnrealty.com is kind of dovetails nicely with like what Chad is doing with Realty DAO. I don't know. You know, there's nothing really in here I love. You know, we sold, what did we sell? Blacktie.com for a lot of money years ago. But, you know, Black Tie is a killer brand. Black Tuxedos is kind of like the generic.
Yeah, the plural changes it.
Yeah.
Black Tuxedo would be cool. I still prefer Black Tie though. Black Tie is a cool name.
Yeah, that was a great name. I actually, you know, I don't regret it. We got a good price for it. Great guy. The buyer, it's him and his brother. They run a, you know, basically tuxedo rental business. And then they decided to design their own tuxedos and then both sell them and rent them online, you know, direct to consumer. And, you know, they built a great business and great guys. So I'm glad they got it. I tried to sell blackdress.com. They wouldn't bite.
Shane, what about you, man? What do you think? And also,
I mean,
you know, put your investor hat on, right? You know, let's say you don't have a big budget. Is there anything on this list that?
Yeah. So I buy motors names. I just feel like there's so many car dealers. I don't know the exact, it says there's 4,400 searches for City Motors, but you know, there's a lot of places called City Motors out there. Mm-hmm. And it's a perfect upgrade name for somebody. Are you going to make a ton of money? No, but I think it's an easy sell. And I put a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but I probably have 10 motor names in my portfolio, and I keep adding to it because it's kind of like lawn and landscape, and there's just a lot of companies that could use that, and they're going to pay 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, for a car dealer, they're going to pay a little bit more because they do pretty well for the most part. So I really like those kind of names. You're going to have to be patient, but that's domain investing. DN Realty, I think it'd make a great name for somebody in our space, but I'm so scared of the word realtor and realty when it comes. I don't like I don't know the rules on it, but every time I touch it.
I am not an intellectual property lawyer, and so my comments are not advice, and you should do your own due diligence. But I used to own a local realty name that had to do with it was a local thing that I don't remember what town it was, but it was somewhere I knew or lived in or something. And this is going back, 10 years. And I got a cease and desist letter from the American Association of Realtors. And, it was first cease and desist letter I ever got, first of many. And although I've never lost a UDRP or been, I have fought back and won every single confrontation ever.
Ever. Not a challenge. Not a challenge.
Ever.
I dare you.
Bring it. Just kidding.
But anyways, the point is I ended up, I was kind of like, whoa, I got all anxious and nervous. And I just, did what every stupid, anxious young person does when they're starting out in business. And I called them. And so I was like, why are you coming after me? I didn't mean to hurt you. So anyways, the lawyer was this older woman. She was very nice. She was very polite and she was like, look, this is, we probably sent out 500 of those letters that same day. This is something that, she explained to me the whole history of the trademark. She told me, what their operational strategy was. And basically what she told me was that there is so much infringement on the mark that I think it was like 20 years ago, they basically decided that they need to narrow down, like, where are we going to defend it and where are we not? And so the only place that they're defending it is in geographical location, followed by realty or realtor. Those are the only things they're going after. So if it's generic, like top realtor, although that's maybe one that might be more sensitive that they might go at, but like having something like DN Realty, they're not coming after you for that. They're coming after you for Dallas Realty. Or,
I feel like this guy's telling me they're not going to check the parking meters as I pull into the.
It's all good, man. Don't worry about it, man.
Don't worry about it. They don't work this section of town.
So here's the thing.
Do your own due diligence. Generally speaking, just don't bother. There's so many opportunities out there. But I am just trying to sort of set the record based on my own experience. I was told that the areas in which it is sensitive, the areas in which they're targeting is geographic location with, I don't know about before, after, or otherwise, or if it matters, but geographical location in combination with realty and realtor.
Yep. Well, and I'll say this. So, Drew gave the disclaimer that he's not an IP attorney. I will give the disclaimer that I am an IP attorney, but I'm not giving legal advice. But I didn't know that realty, I know realtor is a trademark term that's aggressively enforced, maybe in line with what you said, Drew. And I don't know, I'm not in the weeds enough to speak to it one way or the other. I don't know that realty itself is trademarked. And I think that, like you said, I think if it's being utilized like DN Realty, right? And I think this is a good one for our audience that, might not be a bad domain name brand business for folks that are like, hey, I want to create a site that I can put my domain names and all that kind of stuff. I think DN Realty, I would agree 1,000%. Look, talk to an attorney if you have any concerns around that. And this is because we don't have any dog in the fight. At the end of the day, if people go ahead and bid this up and spend, $100 versus $100,000, like whatever. I think it could be an interesting brand that if somebody came to me, would do the research and kind of go through and see if we felt that there'd be, I don't think I'd be overly concerned. It's not legal advice, but I think that, and I think it's interesting for, again, our audience of domain investors who, are looking for a platform to showcase their stuff, I think could be kind of interesting. So that would be my thinking around it, but I'm with you. And I don't know that I would invest a ton of money into it or wouldn't necessarily do so without doing the proper legwork. And I think that goes for any domains that folks are looking to buy. I think you've got to always be concerned about the potential trademark implications, especially around established brands, celebrities, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I know there's been a lot of talk, even in the clubhouse rooms, about, oh, I got so-and-so.club, and it's like some famous artist. And it's like, well, you might want to be careful with that because, it's like,
well, what we call that around these parts is a liability.
Exactly. We call that trademark.
Well, and that's when you're buying a domain name and you go see a trademark and it covers the entire space of people that you think are going to buy it. that is going to take out a lot of your potential customers, and nobody ever does that. But Travis that I work with, he does it all the time. He's like, go look at the trademark. Anybody in technology cannot buy this without getting sued because it's a live trademark. And so you really are narrowed it down to the person that owns a trademark if you're going to do it legally. Now, again, that's just due diligence in anything you do. But first where we started this, I love DN Realty. I think it's a great name for a brand site to represent your names, because we're always talking about domain names being similar to real estate. That being said, I don't touch Lego stuff. There are just certain things that I don't want to hassle with it. So that's just me personal. Sell Your Home, top notch. I mean, it's an amazing name. I love share.net. Every time a good net comes for sale, I watch it like a hawk, because I think if you're building something out and it works with the keyword, it's a great cheap brand to get a really good one word and build out. And people's like, oh, you're going to lose it to the .com. I just don't, as a brander, I just don't feel that anybody ever gets confused if you do it correctly. Do you want the .com? 100%. But how many emails do you get? For me, I hate it in the email more than I do the domain name. Like the emails are where the nets kill me. And that's one of the reasons I don't like net as a brand. But as far as typing it out, finding it, I think people find that just fine in the .net for the price you pay if you're going to build a small to medium business.
Yep.
Surfboard, I sold surfboard.net. I couldn't even get $1,000 for it. The .com was owned by what is it? Like, I can't remember what it was. It was like an internet box or something like that. If you type it in, it's in there. But I was thinking they own the .com. It's not going to ever be there. Surfboard.net for under $1,000 to build a brand is a good value. So,
I think that's a fair point.
Comes into value.
Yeah. I think that, I think that makes a lot of sense. So anything on here that you would tell folks to avoid?
I just don't see hotel tours. To me, that just sounds so boring. I can't wait on shitty things that I don't find exciting. Like I just can't have it in my portfolio and wait forever if it's something that I don't see any potential or.
And here's what, I included that as a dislike for myself because, when people take tours, they're not taking tours of the hotels, right? The hotels are just.
It could be historic hotels. Like this is where Lincoln stayed on the way. I mean, I've seen people take crazier tours than going into
it's not a crazy idea, to be honest with you. Like if I'm going to a new city where I've never stayed in a joint, or like I'm thinking about some hotel that just popped up in Miami and I'm like, oh, maybe that's the hot shit. I want to go stay there. Like I do a hotel tour. Be like,
don't you just go to hotels.com or you go to the site and you see?
No, man, those
TripAdvisor
pictures. Those pictures. I've seen the pictures. You ever seen Seiger's backdrop? His house looks awesome in the backdrop. He could be doing it from the barn. You don't know. Yeah. Like those pictures on the hotel sites. Now the ratings.
TripAdvisor, where people post user pictures and things like that.
That's true.
Yeah,
no.
I guess I agree. The things for that already exist. How do you monetize this? Unless somebody's just, like you said, famous hotels all over that, they can do that. And then they affiliate link to actual reservations and stuff like that. Maybe,
But it's got 32 bids. So my guess is it was a site. There's no way there's 32 bidders on something that doesn't have backlinks. Yeah. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
That's probably already built out like a TripAdvisor didn't work and there's some juice to it. I like Costra's interesting name. Those are the kind of flyer names that, again, patience. That we could talk. I mean, that's our whole show is patience. Is you just have to wait it out on names like that. You're going to get your money, and if you don't do what I do over the past 10 years that Drew points out, you're going to be wealthy.
Well, look. But Costra, like La Costa Nostra. You know what I'm saying? Like but it's Spanish for crust, right? But I don't know if the inflection or not the inflection. I'm not a Spanish speaker. I think it could also mean scab. I don't know how it's used. Is it used in a way to mean like what is the actual like real connotation of that name? Could it be?
I don't know. I've never used that word in Spanish.
Could it be a pizza? Could it be a restaurant? Could it be some things like that? You know what I mean?
Google's usually good for that.
I know. Well, I did Google it. That's where it came up with the idea that it's crust. You know what I'm saying?
I just speak Spanish and use it as a
scab.
sentence, and then they look at me.
Yeah. So, but I think that one, I mean, depending on what it sells for, 40 back order is still a bunch of time. I
like Costra. I like Costra.
I dig that one. That one for me was kind of cool. Solar stickers, I think, is kind of interesting. You know, it's this idea of like, could that become a thing? Right now.
I just read an article today about, electronic textiles, that this is now like the real deal. Like, it's like,
it will be a thing. They're getting thin enough every year that eventually you are just going to roll it out and stick it onto the roof or something.
That's what I mean. Right now, the process is, and I've got friends that work in this industry, and, I got a buddy of mine who owns a solar business, and, the whole process of getting up on the roof and doing the whole thing, and like, the panels and installing, and obviously you got Tesla doing their thing with the shingles and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think you get to a point where, like you said, it's thin enough and it'll be easy enough where, and you slap it on the top of a golf cart or some other things that, become sort of an easier application as the tech gets better, cheaper, more efficient, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
hang it on a clothesline.
With only 13 bidders, 15 days, it's still a little bit of time, but I think there might be a buy opportunity there. And then I think
that's a cool name. You kind of sold me a little bit on that one.
Exactly. Well, if you get it, we'll talk to my people and we'll work on, let's get ahead of the tech, and let's although Drew will be like,
I kind of want to know if the tech is possible.
There'll be no website development.
Before you do that, let me buy it and sell it too early.
That's how we know it'll pop off.
Shane, how do we organize? I want a first right of refusal on everything you sell.
That's right. No,
we'll talk about it. We'll put
Hey, we've done that before on a couple domain names. So
yeah, I want a first right of refusal on it. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's a jar of honey, domain name.
The greatest part was
for sure the next people.
It was when we had ethical. I said, "Hey, I got ethical. I'm looking to sell." And you're like, "Ethical? No. Why would people name ethical?" And then a week later, he came back. I think I like the ethical now. Like I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't think it was a great name.
Did you buy it, Drew?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, you did. For me, no, it's still parked.
You still got it just like hidden in your portfolio, man. Just like sitting there, ready to get.
It's a good name, isn't it? Ethical.
There are no.
I actually, you know what? I haven't thought about that name in a minute, and
Yeah, I like it now, huh?
Well, ethic.org expired and is on GoDaddy right now. I was looking at that this morning.
Well, you have ethical, but we did it in NFT, so I own 10% of the resale rights. So it's well for everybody.
Oh, that's where things get interesting with NFTs. So, all right. Yeah. So with that, I think we've gone through most of the list. I think the only other names that we didn't talk about, specifically scienceofbeauty.com, which I think is kind of cool for, beauty site, especially, I think there's some interesting potential application around that. And theperimeter.com, which is the name, but, the perimeter is a common, phrase. Security, privacy.
Yeah.
There's definitely stuff around that could be kind of an interesting product or service or, type
for the right price. That's not a bad name.
Yeah. I back order both of those names and, a couple $100.
Yeah. And so we'll keep an eye on all of them, see what's up. And, but again, grab the list. We've got the Excel sheet attached, download it, check the names out, go throw a back order in or don't. Cause if we happen to be in on these names, we don't mind the lack of competition. But that's what it is for the list on NameJet, which again, they all go, within the next probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks latest. So, and some even sooner than that. So with that, we're going to pause for a second. We're going to hear from our sponsors and we're going to come back with segment 3 here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. If you don't know, now you know.
FD was built by domain investors to increase your inquiries, sales, and profit. Forget spreadsheets and archived emails. Manage your entire investment portfolio in one place using a secure and completely confidential platform. Learn more at ft.com. That's EFTY. FT.com.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Domain Sherpa. We are here on the third segment, which is our industry update, where we talk about what's going on, industry trends and general updates about the domain space, digital assets, and other things. So with that, one thing, I think we got an announcement to make. In fact, I'm super, super excited about this. So for those of you who, we talked about it earlier. Josh has his podcast, the Digital Fortune Podcast, which has quickly become one of the most popular podcasts in the domain space. And effective immediately, we are adding the Digital Fortune Podcast to the Domain Sherpa network.
Let's go.
So what that means is we're going to start publishing the episodes on Domain Sherpa. We'll be providing, production, marketing, monetization support, as well as increased distribution, cross promotion across our podcasts, our network. And this is the first of several moves that we're going to be making to expand, improve, and enhance the Domain Sherpa podcast network. And obviously bringing somebody like Josh into the fold is extremely exciting for us. He's become a good friend. And he's a super, super smart, talented guy who's made some really, really, really great inroads in the space in not that long of a time. And so, with the idea of, since I've taken over as host, obviously since Drew has taken over ownership of Domain Sherpa, and, we are looking at ways that we are trying to expand the network beyond just what has traditionally been, kind of the Domain Sherpa review podcast, as well as, either the Domain Sherpa Weekly or the interview founder series type of stuff, where, the ultimate goal is to expand Domain Sherpa as a podcast network with various shows underneath the network, or the channel, if you will. And then in doing so, we're working on improving the production of the shows, improving the distribution, the quality of the content, and all that kind of stuff. And, we've been making those moves, and we're excited about what we've done. But this right now represents a really aggressive, great move, I feel like, on our part, to bring Josh and the Digital Fortune podcast into the mix, man. So Josh, welcome aboard. And thank you so much.
Well, I think it also represents a lot of foresight for Josh. I mean, coming into the network, expanding distribution, the cross-pollination, I think, of these two podcasts together is going to be phenomenal for everybody. I mean, it's just a win. It's a win-win-win. It's a lot of winning. So yeah, really excited. I really am. I'm pumped. And I think you've done an amazing job with the podcast. And, I see the response from, your audience, and it's phenomenal. And, as we sort of blend a little bit of like the domain investor community with a little bit of, the end user, or sort of, let's say, marketing community. And, you're really focused on the domain investment community. And I think you represent that new age of domain investor much more than I do anymore. And so for me, it's really exciting to bring you in, because I think you fill a vacuum that we have. And so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you guys are still pretty cool. I give you some credit. But like, nah. All seriousness, like, listen up. I'm super, super like appreciative of Domain Sherpa in general, right? I mean, when I got out of college and I, was looking for my next side hustle, I was listening to Domain Sherpa. So like, I've listened to all the Domain Sherpas, right? So Domain Sherpa was a major part of my education in domain investing. And I think that, needless to say, I'm super grateful of that, because it's, I'm coming out today and I make a living from domain names. I didn't expect that to be the case. And I think both myself, my family have, done very well in the industry, and it's great to be able to give back. So now I can, step into the shoes and come under the network and help you guys, grow it and create value. And I'm all about creating value, man. So like, if we can get some deep fucking value right here on Domain Sherpa.
Creating some deep fucking value in the game.
yeah, exactly. So I'm excited. I'm gonna hopefully churn out some good episodes for everyone on the network. And thanks guys for bringing me in, and I'm feeling the love.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So all good stuff. And for, onward and upward, we got some really good things coming. And, we're going to be relaunching the Domain Sherpa website, and, this year. And, we've got a lot of things. We'll definitely be letting, the audience know more about what we're doing as we're going. But, it is the beginning of what is sort of the new Sherpa 2.0.
Sherpa Studios.
That's it, Sherpa Studios. And so Sherpa.
Watch out, Disney.
Yeah. I've got a new sex show called You Call Your Mommy.
I don't even
can I get that on there? Portnoy would love that version. It's doing well for him. So why can't I come onto this one?
That's fair.
Okay.
And in a lot of ways, I mean, that's kind of, look, I mean, I'm a fan of Barstool Sports and what they do. And, I think a lot of what, I think we are, I don't want to say it's our goal, but, to be to digital assets what they are to sports, right? And, because that's where we live. And, I think we provide a lot of good insight and information to the audience. We want to keep doing that. and also keep people entertained. And, I think with the personalities that we have, it's a combination of, and I think what's great about bringing Josh into the mix is he's somebody who is sort of this younger generation who's found success in the domain space and, makes his living buying and selling domain names, which, and has created his platform, DNWE, which is an incredible platform, and, started his podcast. And, because he, and he found out what worked for him. So he's a testament to the fact that this can work if you do it the right way. And, sometimes, you need some luck here and there, but putting yourself, talk about it a lot. It's like luck is really what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Right. And it's like, if you put in the time and you put in the effort and you make some strategic bets, good things can happen, especially in this market. And there's so much that people want to know about because there's so much exciting stuff going on out there. And, I think we're right on the pulse of it. The key is just to try to deliver that to the audience in a way that it's accessible, digestible, and, and we're going to have some fun while we do it. And at the end of the day,
absolutely. I think that's the key is I think, look, we are everybody on this panel is an absolute expert in the domain game, and we each have strengths and we each have weaknesses. And, what we want Domain Sherpa to represent is really, the entire galaxy of digital assets with a core focus on domain names. Because as we say, all roads do lead to domain names. So it doesn't matter if you run a pizza shop or you run Google, you need a domain name. And so everything starts there and ends there. And, we want to highlight all those different roads that do in fact lead to domains. Yep. And so, if you've got a podcast or you've got the ambitions to run a podcast that is focused on something in that digital asset space, we'd love to hear from you. We want to help, we want to help educate ourselves. We basically want to take this journey through the digital asset space. There has never in the history of the planet been a more exciting time in the digital asset space. And from domain names to NFTs, to cryptocurrencies, to, content, websites, the whole SaaS space. I mean, the whole thing is exciting. This is where the money's going. This is where the trend is going. This isn't a bubble. There may be small bubbles and small inflated sectors within all of these things, but this is the paradigm. This is the new paradigm. Yep. And so we're really excited about where we're going. We're really excited about what we've got going on, but we want to also bring in people that are just as excited and have just as much enthusiasm, and maybe they've got an expertise in some other niche. I would love to have somebody who can come on here and bring it with the real knowledge and experience in the NFT space, and as well as the various crypto spaces, which are many, and anybody else in the domain space that has a voice and an audience and wants to expand it and sees how much fun we're having and wants to be a part of this, because I can't tell you there's nobody in this business having as much fun as we are.
And that's true. And the other piece too is, look, people sometimes think we're either not approachable or it's a good old boys network or whatever, but it really couldn't be, that couldn't be, more untrue.
Further from the truth.
At the end of the day, like, we want to collaborate with as many people as possible on domain sales, domain purchases, deals. Like, let's talk about, we want to work with whoever wants to work with us. We're just trying to get to the money, work with people that we like working with, good people that are trying to do it for the right reasons, that do business the right way. And at the end of the day, like you said, we're having a lot of fun in the process. And, and as far as the contributions to Domain Sherpa, I mean, look, we don't need to fold in a whole show. I mean, what Josh has built, is not an easy thing to have done. But if you want to be a guest on the show, if you've got some, want to make an introduction, like, again, we want to collaborate and work with people all across the digital asset space. That's our ultimate goal. And we're, so this is an open invitation to folks to just reach out, just let us know what's up, and, we're around. So, so holler at us. So that's,
I mean, we're always looking for educational and entertainment. If you're one of the two, it doesn't work. But if you can put them both on the table, it's what you want. You want to have some fun and learn. And sometimes we lean one way or the other.
So, yeah. So with that, I think unless you guys have anything else to either announce or cover, I think we kind of dropped the big old, boom on them. I don't know if you have anything else that you want to highlight or promote before we shut it down, but I think we're getting close to time here. So
yeah, is the first thing that the show is going to buy is Josh a light.
I'm gonna get him the light ring for sure.
Yeah, light ring coming at you, Josh.
It'll say welcome to Sherpa right in the middle of it.
Next show, I'm gonna have my own spot. It's gonna be much better. I'm gonna have a nice little office like you guys. You're not gonna see all this like craziness right here. I'm gonna be all good, good, guys. Don't worry.
I got one more piece of art coming. It'll be here Friday, so this will move to that wall, and I got like a duck hunt thing coming, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my crypto kitties in the background.
Yeah,
that's it. All part of NFT.tv, man. That's all part of the NFT.tv paradigm. So, all right. So with that, man, I want to thank all of you guys for being here, especially Josh. Big picture too, man. Like super excited for what we've got to come. And, and for everybody, like we said, holler at us. What we're doing is continued work in progress. And, but we're open to collaborate in whatever ways make sense, business, podcast, or otherwise. So, and we are not hard to find. And with that, we will be hosting a Clubhouse session on Friday. So this is going to come out on Thursday. So it'll be tomorrow as of the day this airs. At 1:00 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be on Clubhouse, the Domain Sherpa room, if you will, with a bunch of us. I don't know if Shane's going to make it, but everybody else will be around.
I don't want to commit, but I'll be there at one point or another.
So so jump on Clubhouse. We'll, we're going to do our thing. We'll record some of that as well. Try to post it if that works. Definitely get involved, talking to people, bringing people up, and doing what we do. And again, and to all of y'all, as usual, I want to say, without y'all, this doesn't happen. So thank you very much for tuning in and spending time with us as we do what we do here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. See you guys next time.